Today I'm going to share with you why Momoshiki is actually the absolute greatest genius in the entire Otsutsuki clan. I'll also explain how Boruto might find this out as soon as chapter 31 of Boruto Two Blue Vortex. To be honest, once you see the evidence, it's a point that's really hard to disagree with. Have you ever wondered why he seems to know about every single type of Shinjutsu? Or which branch of the clan Momoshiki actually comes from? Why did Ikemoto mention that Momoshiki's ability to see the future isn't actually Shinjutsu? And what kind of Shinjutsu will Boruto and Momoshiki ultimately end up with? Spoiler alert, it's definitely not just seeing the future. If you're excited for this, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to watch until the very end. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe our whole understanding of the Otsutsuki hierarchy is just one big mistake? We've grown used to thinking of Ishiki as this unbeatable monster and Kaguya as the progenitor of chakra, which makes Momoshiki look like just an arrogant prince who lost to a teenager. Now what if I told you that Momoshiki Otsutsuki is actually the most dangerous and advanced member of his entire species, the one who single-handedly hacked the evolution system of the gods? While everyone else was blindly following the rules, Momoshiki was busy carving out his own path. But before we dive deep into that, I'd love to recommend checking out the new video on my second channel. You can find the link right in the description below. Friends, let's be real. The world of Boruto is in a major crisis right now. We're seeing sentient ten-tails appearing that are capable of consuming the best of the best. How do you defeat enemies who stand above the very concepts of life and death? The problem is that standard ninjutsu just doesn't cut it anymore. It's really just a faint shadow, a weak attempt to mimic divine power. We need a solution that's on the same level as the threat itself. And that solution is Shinjutsu. Before we get to the most exciting part of this theory, let's break down the basics. What exactly is Shinjutsu, and why is it so different from everything we saw back in Naruto? Can we really just call Shinjutsu super strong ninjutsu? Think about Ida's abilities. Her omnipotence doesn't require any hand signs. It literally rewrites the memories of people across the entire world. Or look at Damon's reflection, where an attack is sent back at an opponent before they've even realized they intend to strike. This isn't just manipulating chakra, it's programming reality itself. It's like if regular ninja were drawing on a piece of paper, while Shinjutsu users were changing the actual texture of the paper itself. Shinjutsu is the divine source code. These are unique abilities hard-coded into Otsutsuki DNA, manifesting individually just like the Mangekyo Sharingan does for the Uchiha. As I mentioned earlier, all Otsutsuki share certain traits like the Byakugan and the ability to fly. That's their foundation. But everything beyond that is evolution. And this is where it gets really interesting. In chapter 75 of the manga, Momoshiki straight up says he knows every variation of Shinjutsu. Right now, Boruto and Momoshiki's consciousnesses are linked as one. Boruto can access this knowledge because Momoshiki has allowed it. This is exactly how Boruto could learn about Momoshiki's secret clan knowledge as early as chapter 31 of Boruto Two Blue Vortex. But why would he have this knowledge if he doesn't use it? The truth is, he didn't just know about them, he studied them to create something entirely new. The Otsutsuki clan traditions are incredibly cruel and conservative. You know the rule, they always travel in pairs. One is the sacrifice, the other is the guardian. The sacrifice is fed to the ten-tails, a tree grows, and a fruit ripens. But Momoshiki was always different. He used chakra pills called the Cinnabar Elixir. This is fully canon. In the novels for Boruto, Naruto the movie, it's explicitly stated that Momoshiki created and consumed these elixirs by processing chakra. This sets him apart from Kaguya and most other Otsutsuki, who mostly just absorb and hoard power. This was the early stage of his unique Shinjutsu showing itself. Why does this change the canon? Let's look at the facts. When Momoshiki fought in Konoha, he didn't have a ten-tails. To gain power, he didn't need to wait for a tree to drain the planet. He simply turned Kinshiki into a chakra fruit instantly to save himself. Why didn't other Otsutsuki do this? Ishiki Otsutsuki, as powerful as he was, waited for a fruit but couldn't just absorb Kaguya. He was a prisoner to the clan's rules. Momoshiki, however, just ate his partner and transformed. Momoshiki's ability to create mini chakra fruits or pills directly from living matter or absorbed techniques is an evolutionary hack. This is his personal Shinjutsu, making him independent of the Ten Tails and the clan's rigid laws, and we've only seen the beginning of it. Essentially, Momoshiki is an alchemist scientist among warriors. The novels make it clear he focused on creating these elixirs. He wanted to become an immortal god, not just by destroying planets, but through internal transmutation. It's clear to me now that he wanted to break free from the chains of his species and live on his own terms. Now let's look at the current events in Two Blue Vortex. After chapter 31, our protagonist is officially 100% Otsutsuki. As Momoshiki said, everything is now available to him. All of Momoshiki's genetic experience, all his knowledge of Shinjutsu, and that very specific ability can now belong to Boruto. I believe this will happen right after chapter 31, exactly when it's needed most. The world is facing a new threat in the form of the Shinju. The traditional way to deal with monsters like this is to destroy them. No, if Boruto just kills Hidari, what happens to Sasuke? Nothing good, because he needs to recover the core. Sasuke's soul is trapped inside that biological prison. Normal ninjutsu is useless here, but this is where Momoshiki's alchemy comes into play. My hypothesis is that Boruto has inherited the ability to turn living objects into cinnabar elixir without destroying their essence. This could be the key to everything. Boruto could use the karma resonance and his inherited Shinjutsu to absorb the Shinju, but instead of erasing them, he filters them. He separates the pure Ten Tails chakra from the essence of the person trapped inside. This could simultaneously free all the people they've consumed. Since the only thing linking a Shinju to a human is the flow of chakra through the Mokuton, the Shinju act like receivers that can be dismantled through absorption. What would this look like in practice? In the latest chapters, we've seen Boruto show incredible calm and an understanding of the enemy's biology. He actually knows more about them than code does. If Boruto masters the process Momoshiki used on Kinshiki, he may one day refine the essence of a Shinju into pure cinnabar elixir. He wouldn't just physically destroy them, that's not how it works, because you can't really destroy a tailed beast anyway. Instead, he'll process and digest them like healthy fuel. He'll take the Shinju's power for himself, becoming even stronger, while successfully freeing Sasuke and the others. Before we keep going, I'd love to share something a little bit special with you all. My birthday is actually coming up very soon. It would truly make me so happy if we could hit the 10,000 subscriber milestone here on the channel over the next 5 months. I definitely realize that's a pretty big, ambitious goal to aim for, but I sincerely believe in my heart that we can make it happen together. And now, let's go ahead and dive right into the heart of this really interesting topic. I've thought about this for a long time, and one idea keeps coming back to me. What if Momoshiki foresaw all of this? We know his Byakugan can see fragments of the future. Ikemoto even emphasized in an interview that this is his unique gift. And here is the subtle but vital point that almost everyone misses. If Momoshiki's ability to see fragments of the future isn't Shinjutsu, then what is it in the Boruto power system? The answer is both simple and a bit scary. It's not a tool for change, but a tool for calibration. Momoshiki doesn't look at the future to obey it. He looks at the future to check if his experiments and actions are working correctly. His Byakugan isn't the eye of a prophet, it's the eye of a scientist observing how the results change with every new intervention. That's exactly why his real Shinjutsu was never directly about time. His Shinjutsu is about controlling transitional states, between life and energy, between personality and chakra, and between form and essence. I believe the final form of the cinnabar elixir isn't just a mini chakra fruit like we saw at first. It will be a universal converter, capable of breaking any system down into its base elements and rebuilding it in a new order. From this perspective, it makes sense why Momoshiki wasn't trying to rule the future, he was trying to make the future unnecessary. If you can rewrite the structure of existence right here and now, you don't need to know what happens next. You become the source of all possibilities yourself. This is what makes him the most dangerous Otsutsuki. He didn't want to follow fate or fight it. He wanted to move himself beyond it. And Boruto, by inheriting this principle, could become the first to turn Shinjutsu from a weapon into a tool for conscious evolution and protection against Shibai and the Otsutsuki clan. But this is where the most important part begins, and where many fans make a big mistake. Momoshiki's ability to see fragments of the future is not Shinjutsu, nor is it its highest form. It's just a sensory function, an advanced perception of cause and effect. He doesn't see destiny, he sees the most likely probability. It's like looking at a river from above. You see where the water is going, but you aren't the one creating the flow. This is why Ikemoto said it's not Shinjutsu. Shinjutsu isn't about watching reality, it's about interfering with the very mechanism that forms it. Here again, Momoshiki is a step ahead of every other Otsutsuki. Instead of relying on visions, he went a different way. He looked for a way to free himself from the very concept of a predetermined future. His Shinjutsu, his Cinnabar elixir, his chakra processing, it's all an attempt to step outside of linear time. If you can break almost anything down to its primary components and rebuild it, you're no longer tied to the original path of evolution. Other Otsutsuki are playing a primitive game of hoarding. More planets, more fruits, more chakra. But that system always leads to a dead end. Eventually, the planets run out, and so does life. Momoshiki realized this before anyone else. That's why he wasn't just trying to get stronger, he was trying to become a self-sufficient system. His Shinjutsu isn't about destruction, it's about conversion. It's not about devouring, it's about recycling. It's a completely different level of thinking. Momoshiki didn't just foresee Boruto's future, he was creating the conditions to make that future possible. He wasn't looking for a vessel with the most chakra, but one with the most adaptability. Boruto was the perfect fit. He thinks outside the box, rejects dogmas, learns quickly, and is genetically compatible. Where any other Otsutsuki would just see a temporary container, Momoshiki saw the continuation of his experiment. We don't know how it will end yet though. Momoshiki might still have some aces up his sleeve. That's why their connection is so unstable and paradoxical. If the future of an Otsutsuki used to be defined by how many worlds they ate, the future being formed now is defined by the quality of the transformation. This is where Momoshiki's Shinjutsu stops being just a power and becomes a philosophy. It's a philosophy that leads directly to the birth of a new kind of god, not a world eater, but an architect of evolution. Momoshiki likely understood that the Otsutsuki clan in its current state is doomed to stagnate and that they are essentially just parasites. To reach the level of Shibai, you need more than just eating fruits. You need to be able to manipulate the very energy of the universe. That's why Momoshiki learned to absorb the chakra of stars, as mentioned in the novels. I don't recall anyone else being able to do that besides him. Is it possible Momoshiki chose Boruto on purpose, not just for his strength, but because Boruto had a will that the Otsutsuki lacked? The combination of Momoshiki's talent and Boruto's unbreakable will is the blue vortex that will sweep away the old world and even the Otsutsuki clan. I have a feeling that in the future, Boruto won't just absorb what's left of the 10 tails. He'll become a new type of being. Not an Otsutsuki who destroys life, but a guardian of evolution. He could use Shinjutsu to return chakra to planets, or distribute it the way Hagoromo once dreamed of with Ninshu. But this time, it would be done at the Shinjutsu level. Boruto could take back the Otsutsuki chakra and breathe life into every planet they ever consumed. Imagine a final battle where Boruto isn't just facing Kawaki, but the entire Otsutsuki system coming for the traitors. And Boruto, using the power Momoshiki gathered piece by piece, shows them that true divinity isn't about consumption, it's about transformation. It sounds incredibly poetic, doesn't it? The one who was seen as Boruto's curse ends up giving him the tool for the greatest salvation in history, the Shinjutsu that creates the Cinnabar elixir. Momoshiki likely wanted freedom, and through Boruto he'll get it even if it's not exactly how he originally planned. His untraditional path will become the salvation of the entire shinobi world. Friends, analyzing the lore of Boruto Two Blue Vortex is like putting together a massive puzzle. I think after chapter 31, every fact and interview will be backed up by exciting moments in the manga. The fact that Momoshiki stands out from his clan isn't just a fan theory, it's the foundation that the entire plot of this new arc is built on. We can see Boruto becoming more and more like Momoshiki in his fighting style, cold calculation, minimal movement, and incredible efficiency. His Uzuhiko technique is essentially a manipulation of fundamental forces, which is very close to the level of Shinjutsu. I truly believe we are on the verge of uncovering the Otsutsuki clan's biggest secret, and Momoshiki is our primary guide into that world. His arrogance was actually justified. He really did know and could do more than the rest of his kind. And now, that knowledge is in Boruto's hands. Today we've explored a theory that could completely flip how we see the upcoming chapters. Momoshiki Otsutsuki isn't just a villain, he is the key to humanity's survival through his unique Shinjutsu. Boruto Uzumaki now carries that legacy, and that is exactly what will allow him to save the shinobi world and defeat the Shinju. But what do you think? Please share your wildest theories in the comments. I'll definitely read them and reply to the most interesting ones. What do you think Boruto will find out after chapter 31, and what will his next move be? If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to see more videos like this, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.